You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
And today on the Total Wellness Tuesday edition, we're going to go over oil pulling and if it's actually good for our health. Is there actually any research? Is there actually any benefit to doing this thing called oil pulling, which I'm going to get into in just one moment. Now, this question actually it came in from Alicia. It's a very popular topic and it deserves its own show. It really is that important. And that's because... All right, here's what oil pulling is, and I'm going to give you the specific oil that you should use in a moment. The most popular one being used right now is not the correct one, which I will go over in a moment, but the reason that oil pulling, or I should say, the reason why most people are doing oil pulling now is because they've heard all these stories how people have rebalanced hormones in their body. They've decreased blood sugar. They've decreased inflammation. It's helped with asthma, headaches. It's helped with skin conditions, arthritis, infections, liver dysfunction, kidney detoxification. So when you look at this, you say, oh, well, why wouldn't you oil pull? Well, here's the thing. There's no reason not to oil pull. It actually works as a fantastic mouthwash, and the main benefit is that it starts to break down plaque in your mouth. So let's go over this right now. What is oil pulling? Well, oil pulling is taking about 1 to 2 teaspoons, maybe a little bit more if you have a larger mouth, and it is using this oil to just swish around in your mouth. Kind of go back and forth with it just like you would for mouthwash. You don't gargle, but you just swish it around your teeth, you swish it around your mouth, and you're putting it and you're keeping it in your mouth for about 10 to 20 minutes. You'll know when you've had it in long enough. It should be at least 10 minutes, but you'll know when you've had it in long enough because it starts to turn into like this milky, thick substance. Like the oil actually starts to emulsify and turn into this thick substance. At that point, it's very important to spit it into a trash barrel, not into your sink, because oil can start to clog up the sink. All right, so people are doing it, yes, 10 to 20 minutes. They're getting absolutely great results from basically a plethora of different issues within their own body. But so a lot of people saying, well, it's pulling toxins from your bloodstream into the oil, and then you're spitting all those toxins into the trash. Now, that may or may not be true. There's not scientific research showing that that is the case yet. However, I will tell you that what it is doing is it is breaking down plaque and bacteria in the mouth, and those things directly affect your health. Now, how do they affect your health? Well, your bloodstream, your capillaries are right there in all of your gums, in your teeth, and any bacteria, any plaque can actually be absorbed right into your bloodstream. And that's why it said flossing every day, removing plaque, making sure there's no buildup of tartar and plaque in the mouth, on the teeth, has led to less issues of heart disease. And the reason is that plaque can move also into the bloodstream, and it can clot and it can stick in the arteries itself. So oil pulling is a simple way to dissolve a lot of those toxins and plaque and bacteria in the mouth, and it works exceptionally well. Now, keep in mind, this alone can account for all the many reasons why people are getting the benefits that they're stating. And they're getting those benefits because all of those toxins from their mouth, which is so closely linked to our health, and that's why I definitely recommend going to a biological dentist or a holistic dentist, someone that doesn't use fluoride, someone that doesn't use, all these different practices that aren't necessarily great and safe, like mercury amalgams in the mouth. They can use other modalities. So important. Now, the other thing is, this is an ancient Ayurvedic remedy. Oil pulling is an ancient Ayurvedic remedy. Putting oil in your mouth, swishing around for about 10 minutes or so, and then spitting it out. This is thousands of years old. It was used in Ayurveda. It was first stated in Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the original form of medicine. It's so important to study that. So many doctors don't study Ayurvedic medicine, and it's really a shame. And the reason is that Ayurvedic medicine holds the key to so many of the issues that we're dealing with today. That's why I spent so many months and over a year really overseas. And that was to find out what is the best of these other forms of medicine like Ayurvedic medicine. Now, here's what I found though. In Ayurvedic medicine, they don't use coconut oil. And coconut oil is what's talked about so much today in modern day oil pulling. They use sesame oil. And that's because sesame oil is incredibly antimicrobial. It works fantastically well as a polyunsaturated fatty acid. It does not clog the pores. It is not a saturated fat. It contains copper, which again is antimicrobial. Sesame oil is what I recommend. Now, can you use coconut oil? Yes. Coconut oil actually works great for thrush, for candida, for other types of strep-based bacteria in the mouth. However, I would actually use sesame oil and then as needed, use coconut oil for those things that I just mentioned. But sesame, now keep in mind, in Ayurvedic medicine, thousands of years ago, they had the opportunity to use coconut as well. Ayurveda was developed in southern India, in Kerala, and I studied in Kerala. It's an amazing, amazing place. And they chose sesame oil, even though coconut was in abundance there as well, in southern India. So there is definitely a key factor in using the antimicrobial formula within sesame seeds themselves. I do recommend that. And of course, you could just alternate both. You could do it every other day, sesame oil and coconut oil, if you'd like to do it that way. Now, if you're not dealing with any of these issues of skin-based issues or arthritis or whatever it might be, it's still a great thing to do. It is a natural mouthwash, and maybe you don't do it every day, but maybe you do it a couple of days per week. There's no downside to doing it. There's no harm to doing it. You simply can't swallow all of the oil that you just swished around in your mouth. So you have to spit it out immediately after doing it, and then you want to rinse your mouth out just by swishing around some water and spitting it out, and then you could simply brush your teeth if you wanted to afterwards. That works exceptionally well. With children, they can do it as well. They just have to make sure that they do not swallow the oil. And again, it's very safe. There's no real issues around it whatsoever. And so I do recommend it for everyone. Or you could even do it for a period of maybe 10 weeks or 12 weeks, get the benefit, and then just do it occasionally after that if you choose to. But again, there is no downside. There's a lot of great research behind it, and more coming out really all the time. I saw the original research started to come out around 2008 in periodontics and preventative dentistry. But again, more and more, I do see it amongst people in my practice because they're trying it on their own. They're seeing that it does have benefits and it can help with a lot of bad breath and harmful bacteria in the mouth. But that, again, that's caused more deeper down in the stomach and gut with small intestinal bacterial overgrowth and different types of bacterial overgrowth, which I'll talk about more in the future. Today, I just want to make this about oil pulling and the benefits that you can get from it. And if you haven't been introduced to it before, simple. Use a couple teaspoons of oil, ideally sesame oil to start with. Swish it around vigorously in your mouth. After about 10 minutes to 20 minutes, do spit it out into the trash barrel. Swish other water around in your mouth, and then you can be on your way. Hopefully that answers some questions about that. Great topic, something very easy to do, and do give it a try if you haven't done that so far. Thanks everyone for tuning into another Cabral Concept. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well, finally, is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at equa.life, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquaLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests, or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equi.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.